Welcome to T Boys TV. We're back again with another T Boy discusses. Obviously, the one I did do yesterday was a live stream, but obviously this one is a pre-recorded. But yeah, the news that has come out today. We're gonna talk a bit about the player that we are linked with. We're also gonna talk about some comments Bloomfield said on Lamine, and also where a player we were linked with yesterday has gone today. So we'll start off with obviously Kamari Doyle, who we are linked with, and it is said that it is us, Reading, Wickham, and Barnsley that are interested in Kamari Doyle. Now, obviously, he is actually at Brighton. He is a youth player. He's 19 years old. It was on loan at Exeter last season to start off with. Then he got recalled to go to Crawley, and Crawley went, they went down, and his stats are really good, considering they went down. He did end up getting 11 goal contributions to his name at Crawley. And again, like I said, they got relegated. 7 goals, 4 assists. So yeah, he is a good player to look at. Matt Bloomfield probably did look at him for his time at Wickham. But it's an interesting one. I mean, do we need more midfielders? That is my only thing about it. Like I've said with Jake Richards, for example, you can't expect him to come in and be the Asgard replacement. Can we maybe expect it here? A little bit older, this player. I'm not too sure. And again, it probably means if we do bring him in, there is a change in formation. I mean, let me know how you guys would feel about this signing. But yes, it's an interesting one because, like I say, it probably mean a change because, it's an interesting department, the cam, role. We've got Clark who can play there. Lamine's obviously been playing there, under Edwards and under Bloomfield, even though he is actually a CDM. It seemed to be more favourable up there from Bloomfield as well in particular. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like I say, he got all them goal contributions, obviously being out in, obviously where he was in Crawley Town. And 2 very nice goals, especially particularly in the game against Rotherham. They beat him 4-0 away. And he scored 2 really good goals, especially the first goal. So, he looks like he's got everything to his game in that sense. Like I say, we're not the only team that are looking at him. Like I say, the Wickham are looking at him. Apparently, Reading have been for quite a while, and Barnsley are also looking at him as well. And apparently, not too long ago, Bristol City were looking at him as well. So it'd be interesting to see what actually happens with him. It doesn't look like he is going to go somewhere. However, if he doesn't, he could actually play against us if he does stay at Brighton and, is in their under-21 setup because obviously we've got them in the St Johnston's Paint Trophy, I like to call it, because that's what it was called when we won it, and they change it every year. So I'll say something now, they'll probably change the name of it some point soon. So yeah, I'll call it that. But yeah, we might see him in that if he does, end up staying at Brighton. But again, let me know your thoughts on it if it does happen. Let's say, unless someone's going, then maybe, or it's a change in formation. That's the only way I can see this happening. But something regarding that formation that I do also want to talk about today, as Bloomfield has come out and said he wants Lamine to help boost our goal output. And there was some quite interesting comments from Bloomfield regarding this, which I will get into now. So he says, we always knew that there was a player in there, but unfortunately we just needed to give him time last season to bed in. At the end of the season, he gave a couple of really good performances with his athleticism. I think he can get goals from midfield as well, so it's nice to see him get that bit of confidence. A lot of people talk about going and getting a striker that gets 20 goals. But if you look at the history down the leagues over the years, there's very few strikers that do get 20 goals. You've got to have goals all over the pitch, which I do agree with. Obviously, Asgard and Ali did that for us from January to the end of last season from advanced midfield positions. We need to add that all over the pitch, so it's good to him. It's good for him to get a couple as well. Um, so yeah, that was quite interesting. He also said he wants, Nelson to go on and kick on now. And like I've said, I expect Nelson to play more. Definitely, whether that's impact off the bench or even starting in, quite a few games in League One. Probably do expect him to play in the St Johnsons as well, playing trophy thing. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I expect more youth players to play in that as well. But yeah, Lamine, what I will say is it looks like he's still going to be that number 10. I mean, when we did play Bournemouth first friendly of this, new season, you sort of saw that he was in a number 10 role anyway by the looks of it. And his physicality looks really good. Like, it looks more bulkier. And I said that at the time. And like Matt Bloomfield says, we need goals all over the pitch. You can't be relying on, the strikers. I do agree with that. But I also do feel we still need to get a striker in. And I think we will. You look at how many strikers we've actually been rumoured with and forward players. And going back to Kamari Doyle, he was actually playing up front a lot for Crawley as well. So maybe it might be another option there as well when it comes to that. But it will be interesting to see who we actually do get in. But yeah, one player we will not be getting in that we were linked with yesterday was Josh Koroma, who has now gone to Leyton Orient. He's gone back to Leyton Orient, shall I say. Obviously, he was there many, many years ago. So yeah, it's interesting when it comes to that. I mean, a few people were a bit iffy. I mean, I wouldn't mind it personally, but again, like I said, that would have been a change in formation anyway, because he is predominantly a left winger, so that would have been a change also there when it comes to that as well. But yeah, Lamine, will he stay? It looks like he is set to stay based on what Bloomfield has said. Obviously, there was rumours at the start of the window that a few Championship teams and stuff were looking at him, Stoke being one of them, but does look like now, based on what Bloomfield has said, he is going to stay. So that is good because, again, as much as he is actually a CDM, he has looked good as a cam. And again, I know the opposition is not great in Bournemouth. However, he did look very good. He just looked a lot more physical. You compare him to a player like Chong, for example, who's just so weak when he's on the ball. Like, let's be honest. He's good at driving at players, but he gets bodied off the ball too easily. Where, Lamine's got a bit of trickery, like Chong has, but on top of the physicality as well, which helps and could be massive. And yeah, if we can chip in, get goals elsewhere, which I think we will anyway. Like Clark, Lamine can chip in with some himself, but we still need, as much as I'm happy that we've brought Wells in, who's very experienced, we still need someone else on top of that because I'm not too sure about Woodrow, really. I don't think he's going to feature a lot. I think he'll just come on every now and then in games. Nordas, yes, he's, getting goals in pre-season, which is good for his confidence, but still, a lot of people say you need to see him against better opposition, and yeah, you can't rely on him based on what we have seen. We haven't seen enough to be able to say he can be that second striker for sure. Because as much as Wells is the oldest, I probably do expect him to start quite a lot next season. But obviously, if we do get someone else in, which I do expect, then maybe they could. But right now, based on what we have, I would say, if you talk about Woodrow, Wells, and Nordas, I would say Wells plays the most out of them three. So yeah, do let me know your thoughts on Matt Bloomfield's comments about Lamine and Nelson. Do let me know your thoughts on Kamari Doyle as well. Would you take him at Luton? And do you think if we do bring him in, there is a formation change? Like I say, I do think there is, because yes, he could play up front. He could be another option, but it's not really ideal. You could even, go with a 3-5-2, but then have one CDM and two more attacking midfielders. There's things you can do. And that is why I am looking forward to seeing these last load of pre-season games, especially the Tottenham game in particular, with that being the biggest test, and also the fact that that will be the final pre-season game. So, you will basically do probably what you'll do first game of the season, roughly. Play the same sort of players, play the formation that you expect to play, going into that first game of the season against Wimbledon. So will be interesting. But yeah, again, let me know your thoughts, guys, on everything I've discussed. Kamari Doyle to Luton, would you take him? Do you think it will happen? And Lamine looks like he's set to stay. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Bloomfield's comments? How do you feel about what he's also said about Nelson? And yeah, do let me know your thoughts on Josh Koroma as well. Are you gutted or are you not really too bothered about that? Do let me know. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash a like. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the extra channel. And yeah, do follow me across all my socials if you're not already. So yeah, until next time, take care. Peace.